Welcome to the Know, I'm Meg Turney.
I'm Miles Luna.
Hey, if you're a game developer and you want some free lessons on how to piss off your players, look no further than Overkill, the creators of PayDay 2, and how they've handled microtransactions.
I guess the heist has been on our wallets all this time. The recently released update 90 for PayDay 2 at the end of last week has players feeling a bit robbed to the point that its Steam moderators have now gone on strike and refuse to participate until a member from Overkill gives them a public interview.
I love that people can go on strike.
We will not break.
We won't do any
This is
more
a phallic
reviews.
hand gesture. Anyways, let's read the thing.
Yes. How do we get to this point? Last month, Overkill introduced a new mechanic into PayDay 2 via its black market update, PayToWin. That's right, the three most dreaded words in a multiplayer shooter. As part of the update, players now have access to safes, which when opened could drop weapon skins a la Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and like CSGO, the only way to get the drills required to open the saves is through the Steam market for $2.50. The only difference from CSGO is that the weapon skins aren't just cosmetic, they actually boost your in-game stats, increasing attributes like stability, accuracy, and damage.
I guess Overkill really wanted a payday. Really, Eddie? That's the quality writing of us? All right.
I love him.
Somebody had to say it.
Yes.
Anyways, this new pay-to-win microtransaction model comes after Overkill promised back in 2013 that it would never introduce microtransactions to the game. Back then, Almir Listo, one of the game's producers, updated the Steam page with, "We've made it clear that Payday 2 will have no microtransactions whatsoever. Shame on you if you thought otherwise." It's funny how things on the internet just can't go away.
Yeah,
after you say them.
exactly. We need that Game of Thrones shame bell. Shame, shame, shame. Once the microtransaction-laden black market update hit, the players had absolutely nothing to say about it on Reddit. Nothing. Nothing at all.
That's unusual.
Especially in a Reddit AMA with Listo, who did not get torn to shreds by thousands of angry gamers.
That's a first.
Kappa.
Overkill tried to appease players by adding a chance for drill drops to in-game reward tables, so paying for them wasn't the only option, but the developers still maintained that they would not be removing stat boosts from the weapon skins. Nearly a month later, they've now released Update 90, which is the cause for the most recent uproar: team boosts and the completely Overkill Safe.
This is actually getting more complicated than Game of Thrones now.
And this is a part where our writers put in a Game of Thrones joke.
A Thrones joke.
A Thrones joke. I'm not cut up. It went over my head, so I'm just gonna stand here and try and look pretty while you continue to read.
You look good. The new Team Boost mechanic gives a chance for an XP and money boost when players have the Team Boost feature applied. So this stacks the more that you have in your party with Team Boost activated. The only catch is that you can only apply it to a paid weapon skin.
Oh, they're just getting creative with how to screw over their players. In addition to Team Boosts, Update 90 also brought the Completely Overkill Safe, which was a reward for buying the Completely Overkill pack back in spring as part of Payday 2's Hypetrain event.
So before we were joking about Game of Thrones, but now we're being serious. What the hell is going on here?
Okay, so back in spring,
Yes.
Overkill launched an event called Hypetrain, which would reward the entire community with free content and XP boosts when the community reached certain tiers of hype fuel.
Oh, God.
So like think of it as Kickstarter bonus tier rewards. You can only get them by buying DLC, gifting DLC, or purchasing Steam games, which were part of the promotion.
Oh, this is like the Deus Ex promotion that people just like set fire to and then it burned.
God, yeah, that was a thing.
It burned down. So they gave people free content for spending a bunch of money on their
Content.
stuff. Yes.
Yes. So one of the things the community could buy to get tons of hype fuel was the Overkill pack, which cost $5 and had a few in-game items in it. But if you bought the completely Overkill pack for $20, you were promised a reward down the line, and that reward was just released in the form of the Completely Overkill Safe in Update 90.
Okay, so what exactly is in the Completely Overkill Safe that has players so pissed off? Well, one of 25 weapon skins, of course. The only problem is that the weapon skin's quality and rarity are random, meaning you could have waited 8 months and spent $20 to get a skin that totally blows.
But that's not all. The safe also contains 7 of Payday 2's DLC packs in it. But if you already own them, you don't get them as gift copies to give to friends. And you just paid $20 for DLC that you already own.
All right, so continuing the Game of Thrones thing, they're basically King Joffrey at this point, right?
Very shitty, yes.
Very shitty.
That's
Soup
not great.
shitty.
Not
Don't
a
poison
fan.
anyone. The anger over these recent moves has gotten so bad that now Payday 2's Steam moderators have gone on strike. One of the group's moderators reportedly received death threats over the whole deal and has said, "I like to believe that I am not unreasonable, but unfortunately the situation constantly degraded. We will no longer refuse to work if we are given a public interview with a member of Overkill. We want to be heard and see what Overkill are willing to do to fix the situation. If Overkill decides to let us go as moderators, it's something we are prepared for. I personally cannot sit by when they continue to promote immoral business practices."
So, developers, if you're thinking about introducing pay to win into your multiplayer game, maybe don't.
Yes.
It makes you wonder why Overkill thought these changes would go over well, or if they even cared at all. It's no secret that microtransactions can be big business for developers. Look no further than League of Legends, which generates $31 bajillion million trillion in transactions a second, and over $1 billion last year alone. For all iOS apps globally, that number is 317 bajillion trillion, I don't know, a lot of money per second.
It's a lot.
Oh, really?
You had it in there.
Oh,
you were
let's
like,
go back.
Fuck it. No, I like that you were
okay.
like, I don't know what they're saying there.
I just assumed that it was, I guess that is per second.
$17 per second is a lot of money, but I
That is
saw
true.
where you were going
That
when
is
you saw
true.
the 31.
I
and you
saw
were
the
like,
billion
fuck.
earlier. I was like, should we take that again?
No,
or do you
I
just gonna,
like it.
All right, let's just stick with
it
that.
going.
That's a fact.
Yes.
That's a rock fact.
And the fact of the matter is that the game development is expensive, especially if you're in between development cycles and are a bit out from announcing a new game. We're keeping it going.
Yeah, I threw you off. How does it feel?
It costs money to keep an old game running, not to mention that people are paying to help support it, which is why it's getting more and more common to start supporting multiplayer titles with this kind of content. We saw it in CSGO and most recently in Destiny. Now the difference between those games is that they offered cosmetic updates rather than anything that actually changed gameplay.
But introducing pay to win into your existing community has more of a gotcha feel for people who have already invested hundreds of hours into your game. Earlier this year, Sony Online Entertainment's H1Z1 had to issue refunds to angry players who complained that newly introduced airdrops were making the game pay to win.
There's even been research into the social aspects of pay to win and how it affects the perception of player status. The International Journal of Internet Science, which is apparently a thing,
Right?
published a study this year which uses social comparison theory to predict that players who purchase pay-to-win items are more looked down upon, are not cooperated with by other players, and that it negatively affects the perception of spending any money in the game in general, resulting in lower sales overall. They tested this in MapleStory, which my brother was addicted to. I'd never heard of, but apparently a very addictive game. World of Tanks and Diablo 3, and their hypotheses proved out in each of those 3 games.
The article concludes, in 3 studies, we find that people respond negatively to players who buy functional benefits in games. Based on psychological theories on social comparison, we predicted and found that players who acquire in-game benefits through the use of microtransactions are seen as less skilled and are respected less. We even found that players have ill will towards the microtransaction using gamer.
You have such a great voice. You
Thank
should do like
you.
voiceover work or
I'll
something.
try it
so
someday.
Nice. So, see, game developers, even science hates pay to win, and you can't argue with science.
Well, you can, but you'll probably lose and get in some horrible
Yeah.
accent. Yeah, I used to be a little girl. And then science.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Chemicals, man.
But you got a
They'll
great
fuck
voice from
you
it.
up.
Yeah.
Fuck you up. Yeah.
Don't argue with science. So, guys, what do you think of all that's going on in Payday 2, and what games do you think handle microtransactions well versus poorly? Let us know in the comments.
To avoid pay-to-win microtransactions and keep up to date on Steam mod uprisings, like this video and subscribe to the Know.
You have such a good voice.
Thank you. Eat
Oh,
a
no
dick,
way.
Ryan. I'm out.